College Success Arizona presents Scholar Interviews. The following interview features Erika Garcia.
I was actually born and raised in Yuma, Arizona. My elementary school I attended was Valley Horizon, and I attended Crane Middle School, and I graduated from Cibola High School.
Were you a good student? Did you try hard? Did you always want to go to college?
Yes, I always got best reader and best speller, so my English and grammar and such was always really well. My mom taught me how to read when I was 3, so I was always kind of academically ahead. I was in spelling bees in elementary and throughout middle school as well. I honestly didn't have a bad childhood. I grew up with my mom, my siblings, and my mom was a single mother, so she just worked really hard to provide for us. She didn't go to college, so I noticed that growing up, and I noticed that she was always working, and she was gone a lot of the time. So I realized that although she was a hard worker, I wanted to be a hard worker as well, but I wanted to go to school because I knew the struggle. I knew how hard it was for her, and unfortunately she didn't get the opportunity that I had. I would say that necessarily I didn't have a bad childhood, but I was always a little bit mentally and academically ahead of the game.
And you're attending college where now? You expect to graduate when, and what course of study are you pursuing?
Okay, my major is Family Studies and Human Development with a minor in Human Services. I will be graduating this May, and I go to the University of Arizona, the Yuma branch campus.
And what do you hope to do for a career?
Well, actually, I will be teaching this August, so that was a little of what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into counseling or to go into teaching, and I wasn't quite sure which way I wanted to go because technically I hadn't really had hands-on with either. But I actually currently work at a domestic violence shelter, so I get to work hands-on with clients that have been through certain things, and I get to see that little side of the counseling and caseworkers and things like that. And then my teaching in August, I'll get to see the teaching side. So that will help me decide on what to get my master's in because I wasn't quite sure whether to go into education or to go into counseling.
And you will be teaching where this fall?
At St. Francis of Assisi Catholic School.
And you'll be teaching what grade?
I'm doing pre-K this year, and they're offering me another grade next year because they want to keep me there. So for my starting, I'm doing pre-K.
And you are how old currently?
I have just turned 22, January 10th.
And you have a child of your own, is that correct?
I do. I was 18 when I had her. I think that was my biggest challenge, was just learning how to be a young parent, I guess. Like I said, I had Kyla when I was 18, and I was pregnant the last 3 months of my senior year in high school. But to me, I don't think that was an excuse to not continue my education because I've always just been a driven person, and I always knew I wanted to go to school. Like I said earlier, just growing up, I knew what I wanted to do. And so I still applied for the scholarships. I went through with the interviews. I signed up for my college classes on time. I've always been a full-time student. So right out of high school, I just, I'm 22, I'm on time. I graduated 2012, so I just been a full-time student, part-time worker. And then right out of graduating high school, I went to AWC. And that winter, actually, I kind of wanted to talk about it was finals week at AWC, my freshman year of college. And finals are usually around the second week of December, and I was 41 weeks. And so I was freaking out because I was wondering when my baby was going to be born because I knew finals were coming up, and I was always a school freak. So I was like, oh, my goodness, when is it going to happen? When is she going to be born? How am I going to do the finals? So she was born on December 4th, and I was sent home from the hospital on a Friday. So the next Monday, I took all my finals. I didn't care if I was tired or if my feet were swollen. I still went. I passed with A's. Eventually got my associate's degree and then got admitted to U of A, and I received the honors and the dean's list, and currently I have a 3.9 at U of A. I have a lot of faith, so that's what really helps me, and just the fact that I just get a lot of motivation from my daughter as well. She's always really happy, and she respects my homework time, and I just schedule accordingly, and it's been really good, so I'm really fortunate for everything.
When you were pregnant with your daughter and starting school, some people may be discouraged by that. It sounds like you were encouraged and motivated by that.
Yes, I was very motivated. Like I said, no matter what happened, I was still going to go to school, and I just always have that drive, and that's just how I am. And I knew that obviously going to school would be a really big thing for us and for our family. So I had to do it. I mean, I know it would have been hard, but luckily I've had the scholarship from College Success and other scholarships as well, and that really helped me financially. And so that kept everything all set in stone, and I just did it. I just went for it and did it.
When did you first learn of College Success Arizona?
I was actually a senior in high school, but they have been with me since, I believe, since I was at Crane Middle School, but it was called Gear Up back then. They have been with me since middle school, and I was enrolled in the classes because I think, if I can recall, I think in middle school, 6th and 7th period were precisely for Gear Up, and it was called like a Gear Up period. So in 7th grade, I was enrolled in one, and then in 8th grade, and they followed us throughout high school. And so my senior year, they offered the $24,000 scholarship, and I did the essays and the interviews, and I went through with it, and I received it. So I was very lucky to have them be with us for so long, and to actually offer that at the end was great.
It seems like maybe the majority of college students graduate with some student debt. Has the scholarship helped you to avoid or limit student debt?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I really don't have student debt. I have kept up my grades. I believe the 2.5 is like the recommended GPA, but I've always had one above a 3.0. I've never had any lower than that. Luckily, I've kept my scholarship. I've always been full-time, so I've kept that as well. And if anything happens, they always work with me, which is good. So I have no debt right now, actually. So it's helped me more than I can even imagine.
Matt Sotelo with College Success Arizona is a success advisor, essentially a mentor, and you are one of the students he works with. Kind of describe the experience of working with Matt. I guess kind of checks in on you from time to time over your college experience.
I actually started out with another advisor, and she was really sweet as well. And then they gave us Matt. And with Matt, I really like how he genuinely cares. He really genuinely cares about us, and I like the connection that I can have with him. He understands, and I feel like if I'm talking to other people, I feel that sometimes they kind of judge because they don't really know my story, or, I was young when I had my daughter and everything. But as soon as I met Matt, I told him everything flat out. Hey, this is who I am. I've had my daughter. I had my daughter when I was 18, and I've been doing this. And he's always been so genuinely caring and non-judgmental. He's always helped if I have any questions. He's always proud of the accomplishments that I have. And he's the one who actually encouraged me for this story because I felt like it wasn't good enough. But he really told me that it's inspiring seeing what I'm doing because a lot of people don't do it. And that really made me happy because I know that he really cares and he really does try for us and he just wants the best for us.
You mentioned that you were raised by a single mother. Was she encouraging you to attend college throughout your life?
Yes, I think my mom is my biggest fan, to be honest. She's always so proud of everything that I do, and she's always, making a big show to all of our family and like my grandparents and everything. And she's just always been really proud of me. Her and my dad. My parents divorced when I was 3 or 4, but my dad's been in my life, and he also encouraged me because he even told me how hard it was. None of my parents went to college, so he always told me how hard it was just working, and they've always been very encouraging. My grandparents have been encouraging. All my family is very encouraging, and I have younger siblings. I have about 8, so I'm the oldest, and I just am proud to set a good example for them.
With 8 younger siblings, it sounds like you have plenty of built-in child care there.
Yeah, they're a little older. Some are in high school now, but I mean, the vast majority they're in elementary, so I got a lot of time on my hands and a little experience here and there.
Excellent. And what advice do you offer for students considering college? You've obviously overcome your share of challenges. What would you say to younger people to encourage them?
I would say that just to start early. It's never too early to start. Although I did everything on time, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have not taken summer classes or winter classes, because I have done that before. Last semester was my first actual winter break that I had this whole time, so just to get ahead and do extra things that I wanted to do, I just advise younger people that are still in high school just to start right now. Like right now is March, it would be a perfect time to start looking up classes, looking up your plan. And I know plans change, but just have a set plan that you're going to do. Take certain classes, because you can always get degrees in different areas. So if you're going to get an associate's in one, at least do it. Don't keep changing your classes, keep changing your majors. Stick to one major, do that. When you get your bachelor's, stick to that major and do that. That way you'll always have a set plan, and it's never too early to start. So I think the earlier the better.
You were born and raised in Yuma, now educated in Yuma. You're starting to work in Yuma this summer with your teaching. Is your long-term plan or ambition to remain in Yuma?
Initially it was, but I think I might want to move somewhere that has more of a population that I can serve, because I wanted to stay here due to, growing up here and everything and knowing it. But I think once I get more experience, I think I want to move to a bigger population where I can serve more.
Thank you, Erika, for the interview and for working so hard to make a difference in our community.